Welcome to the show. California Governor Gavin Newsom appears to be derailing his own political future overnight through a damaging 1-2 self-inflicted blunder, essentially pulling a Joe Biden with a "you'll all end up in chains" style mistake, and things have only gotten worse for him since. Additionally, the probability of a U.S. military operation inside Mexico has risen sharply following yesterday's events. Many questions are swirling around the death of Meno. Why was he killed? Mexican citizens are demanding answers from their own government. He was already in the custody of the Mexican military, and yet he was shot while detained. The reason remains unclear. This was the single most valuable potential witness, the one person who could have exposed everyone funding and sustaining these cartels, and now he's gone. We'll also take a look ahead at Trump's upcoming State of the Union address, scheduled for tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's shaping up to be a major speech. But first, let's examine what triggered Governor Newsom's current downward spiral. Because yes, folks, he is unraveling. It all began with an interview that aired Saturday. Watch it for yourself, and then we'll break down what followed.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech. Because I cannot read a speech. This may be the wrong business to be in.
Gavin Newsom, widely regarded as the most calculating and slippery governor in the country, and until recently considered the frontrunner for the 2028 Democratic presidential nomination, may have just accidentally torpedoed his own political career. It is currently Black History Month. Governor Newsom was addressing an audience of Black Americans, and as seen in the clip, he was promoting his memoir, A Young Man in a Hurry, a Memoir of Discovery. This appearance was part of his book tour over the past weekend. While speaking to a Black mayor and a predominantly Black audience, he apparently thought it was appropriate to say, "Listen, I'm just like you. We are the same. I scored a 960 on the SAT. And like you, I'm also illiterate. I can't read either." It's difficult to imagine a more blatantly racist statement than that, and this is coming from the man who intends to pursue the Democratic presidential nomination in 2028. Without question, this clip will follow him throughout the campaign trail. The backlash on social media has been explosive. Nicki Minaj absolutely eviscerated Newsom, with one of her posts amassing 5 million views on X. She wrote, "His way of connecting with Black people is to tell them how unintelligent he is and that he can't read. This confirms my initial read on him was right. He's had everything handed to him and been placed in positions of power he never earned or deserved." She continued, "Do you want to know the most disturbing part of this footage, the part that will follow him forever? He's deliberately slowing his speech and speaking in a disjointed rhythm. He's not just implying they're all probably unintelligent and illiterate. He's dumbing down his delivery so they can understand him, as if he's talking to children. That tells you he genuinely believes they're slow. He's not just saying it. He didn't misspeak. He actually believes it. Do you love it? Do you just love it, Black people?" That's Nicki Minaj, and she's right. Wake up, people. The Democratic Party is rooted in racism. Democrats were the slaveholders. We fought a civil war against these very people. The civil rights movement itself was a fight against Southern Democrats who were openly and viciously racist. And yet today, which party makes everything about race and is now overtly racist toward white Americans? That would be the Democratic Party. Newsom, in an attempt at damage control, sat down for what he expected to be a friendly interview with CNN's Dana Bash. And to be fair, it largely was, yet he still managed to fumble it. Bash brought up Newsom's recent claims about growing up poor, on the wrong side of the tracks, and having a difficult childhood. Here's what Newsom had previously said about his supposedly tough upbringing. Roll the tape.
It was also about paying the bills, man. And it was just like hustling. And so I was out there kind of raising myself, turning on the TV, started, just getting obsessed, sitting there with the Wonder Bread and 5 stacks of,
it's like the White Stack 5 story.
Come on. Kraft macaroni and cheese. That's how I grew up, bro.
Are you talking about me?
Young YG.
YG,
but
man.
Every day in the backyard, just bouncing the basketball, throwing the ball against the wall until the ball is just like fraying, man. And your arms fall
yourself.
off. That's it, whole thing. So just, and then, then this student that was shitty student is in the back with his head down, all of a sudden started throwing the baseball a little faster than everyone else. And started, make a few free throws because I was sitting there practicing 500 of them every damn night. And in high school, I look up in the stands, my dad's back up there.
Okay, dope.
And it's like, man, and then he's bringing his friends and you're captain of the team and you're like, geez, and it just saved me and it got me into college.
That was clearly the last question Newsom expected during his CNN interview, but it came and he was thoroughly exposed as a flat-out liar. To be perfectly clear, folks, Newsom was not a struggling kid by any stretch. He was extraordinarily wealthy growing up. He was raised in San Francisco, and his family had close personal ties to the billionaire Getty family, as well as the Pelosi's. His family's connections to the ultra-elite stretch back even further. His grandfather was close friends with Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb. So let's put to rest this fiction that Gavin was some poor kid surviving on Wonder Bread, as he's claimed. Watch what happened next.
Businesses, eventually 20 businesses. We had about 1,000 employees at peak. Not saying that to impress you, but to impress upon you how entrepreneurialism has defined my life. But it was also defined in the relationship to the Getty family. And with that came this notion, well, it was handed to you. It was given to you. You inherited it, as opposed to the hard work and that grind that defined the lived experience.
Can it be both? You have the hard work and grind, and you had doors open.
Yeah. Oh no. And that's.
I mean, it's not just the Gettys. Your grandfather and your father were both very connected in San Francisco.
I'm here because of all of them and their shoulders, and 100%. And it was those two. So all those doors, all the privileges of those relationships, remarkable gifts. And they're deeply mined and discussed there. And then again with a work ethic from my mom. And so it was both and. And so I was comfortable and uncomfortable in so many ways in both worlds. And I just navigated back and forth. If I was on a vacation, and we describe a number of interesting vacations overseas with my father and the family, these adventures, my mom was back home.
Weren't just adventures. You went on safaris, you took pictures from helicopters, you were
polar
partying
bears.
With Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, that's something we described that in there. It was extraordinary.
Once again, can we all just agree that Newsom is among the most dishonest and opportunistic governors in the country? A textbook politician. Meanwhile, south of the border, turmoil is escalating in Jalisco, Mexico. Outrage has erupted over the killing of Jalisco cartel boss Meno. Mexican citizens are demanding that their government explain how exactly he ended up dead. Not only does his death trigger an enormous retaliatory response from the cartel, as we witnessed this past weekend, and create a dangerous leadership vacuum, but he was supposed to be taken into custody, not killed. Why does this matter? Because if the goal is to dismantle the cartels, Meno would have been the most critically important witness imaginable. By eliminating him, they've wiped out one of the most significant intelligence assets available and either accidentally or deliberately provided cover for hundreds, possibly thousands of accomplices. We're talking high-level business figures, senior politicians within the federal government, local law enforcement officers, anyone who was on the payroll of this cartel. This man would have known everything. So what comes next? Are there spillover risks into the United States? Here is a breakdown of known Mexican cartels. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel is the largest and most powerful operating in Mexico. Reports are now citing U.S. signals intelligence that is warning of potential terror attacks in U.S. border states in the coming weeks. Prediction markets now place the odds of a U.S. ground operation inside Mexico at 19% and rising within the next month. President Trump has made it clear he wants these cartels dismantled. He was recently asked about the possibility of deploying U.S. special forces to assist the Mexican military in doing exactly that. Here's what he said.
Mexico is saying that I offered to send U.S. troops into Mexico to take care of the cartels. She wants to know, is that true? Do you think I'm going to answer that question?
That's why I'm asking.
I will answer it. It's true. Absolutely. Because they are horrible people that have been killing people left and right, they've made a fortune on selling drugs and destroying our people. We lost 300,000 people last year to fentanyl and drugs. They're bad news. Yeah, that's true. If Mexico wanted help with the cartels, we would be...
And there's a post on X that has gone massively viral. Among several circulating, one in particular has exploded in reach, allegedly written by a CJNG member who openly states, "We will be hitting the U.S." Take a look at this. This alleged Chung cartel member writes, on the subject of El Meno, he was essentially a symbolic figurehead for Chung. It was already widely known that he no longer ran operations as he was elderly and had been living in retirement. However, he remained deeply respected within our organization, to the point where Chung had a standing rule of going after anyone who mocked or disrespected him online. So the U.S. and Mexico killing him has done nothing except push us into full insurgency mode. A Mexican civil war is now a real possibility, especially given that we are already taking control across Jalisco. And yes, Singh will absolutely be carrying out large-scale terror operations inside the United States. That's simply how we operate. If you live in any U.S. state bordering Mexico, you can count on us and our allies conducting major acts of terror in your state. That is a guarantee. That is deeply alarming. And apparently, U.S. intelligence agencies, including the CIA, are picking up an enormous volume of chatter in this vein. Reuters is reporting a signals intelligence surge regarding threats directed at the United States. Given that President Trump will not tolerate this, the likelihood of direct U.S. military involvement in Mexico has risen considerably. Meanwhile, President Trump is preparing for tomorrow's State of the Union address. Trump's former deputy press secretary sat down with Benny Johnson to offer a brief preview of what to expect at tomorrow night's speech. Watch what he said.
Preview. We had DJ Daniel, I think, last year, and this is like a beautiful, of course, powerhouse moment. And it wasn't technically a State of the Union last year, right? It was a joint address. So this is the first State of the Union. This is something that obviously we've sort of heard a preview with the Team USA. Donald Trump inviting Team USA to come to the State of the Union is pretty awesome.
Right.
What do you think? Who's going to be any special guests? Can you announce anyone?
It remains to be seen. I know that the speaker's going to put out a list soon. I don't want to get ahead of that if it hadn't come out already. But I'll tell you, Reagan was good at this and kind of upped the game of having guests in the gallery to kind of point to and promote the greatness of America, the greatness of your agenda. Bill Clinton was good at it too. Joe Biden, not so much, but he wasn't good at anything. And I think Donald Trump has really kind of orchestrated a masterclass in this, in what he's done. And you'd think with these successes of the people in the audience that everyone would rally around, the fights and the battles of these individual guests. It's funny because he did invite the members of the USA hockey team. I hope they're there. Boy, that would be cool. But it would be even more ridiculous to watch that group do something that no American team has done in 46 years and watch Democrats.
We also know that Democrats are planning some form of protest or show of disrespect toward the commander-in-chief. That's par for the course. But every time Trump delivers one of these addresses, he consistently rises to the occasion and manages to outshine his previous performance. What we do know with certainty is that this will be a lengthy speech. He has a great deal to cover, accomplishments, policy priorities, and he wants to bring it directly to the American people, given how poorly the mainstream media communicates any of it. All right, that's a wrap on this episode. Like and subscribe. We'll see you very soon.